Have we started?
Have we started? Should we start now?
Well, you wanted to do some sort of intro.
Some sort of intro. Okay. Welcome everybody to Studio 721. I'm here with Mr. Jack Page.
Gilda.
We're drinking some instant cereal beverage.
You often whisper my name.
Jack Page.
Yeah.
It's one of those names that should be whispered.
Yeah. You're the only one currently.
I'm the only.
I kind of like that.
It's not shouted from the rooftops. It's whispered.
Yeah, it's like tall poppy personified. You only ever
Whispered
whispered
in the basement. Yeah, we're drinking instant cereal beverage and Studio 721.
I feel like we probably shouldn't breeze by instant cereal beverage.
I mean, we're going to come back to it, aren't we? We're definitely going to come back to it.
I mean, it's instant.
It's instant.
It's cereal. It's beverage.
It's rich and vibrant.
You've only got probably 2 minutes to drink it at its peak temperature.
That's it. And then it gets to its other peak temperature, which is cold.
Yeah, that lasts a lot longer.
It's quite long.
I'm trying to get peak temperature number 1.
Tier 1.
Tier 1. Tell me about this podcast.
So this is the Studio 721 podcast by Unchained Music. And this is the podcast where we go deep into the creative process, artist to artist.
Awesome.
And my name's Ryan Ferris. And your name's?
Jack Page.
Jack Page. And we're here in the Studio 721 studio. Also where those guys called Beacon Bloom make tunes sometimes. And we're also here with San. San the orangutan.
Don't forget him. For people who are in audio only land, San the monkey?
Orangutan.
Orangutan.
Yeah, you don't catch them.
Yeah, you don't want to get those confused.
No. There's the great apes, and then there's the lesser apes, and then there's the monkeys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's a list.
You know, you don't want to call a great ape a monkey. It'll
Yeah,
rip your
yeah.
arms off.
Yeah, sure. Not to its face.
Yeah.
No, I would never to its face.
Yeah.
Or to their face, rather.
To their face. Yeah. So San is a member of the orangutan species, and he's a great ape. I think gibbons are the only ones that are a lesser ape, and then the monkeys are all the other ones. Spider monkeys, capuchins.
There's always more than I think. Whenever I see a doco, I'm like, what the heck's this thing? And then it's like the northern eastern, like jumping monkey spider.
They keep finding new ones in the Amazon as well.
Monkeys? No, I think they've got them all.
They found
They wouldn't have found a new monkey in the last 20 years.
They found 2 in the last 10 years.
Like, wait.
Like brand new.
Species?
Yeah.
Or just
like a red,
Kevin and Tom
crazy red monkey
that
they've never seen before.
Whoa.
What else is in there?
Bro, there's heaps of stuff in that forest that we aren't finding.
What else is in that forest?
I think the answers to a lot of questions.
The answers to nearly all of our questions are in there. In the inner world, in the outer world.
It's like Milo without the sugar, but also without the ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I appreciate almost more than the no sugar.
Yeah.
Real down to earth beverage.
I mean, what's Milo for those international folks that may not be familiar?
A what?
With New Zealand.
It's just New Zealand.
Is it just New Zealand?
No, it's Nestle. They make.
I think it might be
it's
like
a
New Zealand.
malted chocolate drink.
It's like a cereal beverage.
But it's not instant and it's not a cereal beverage.
So you wouldn't describe it
I'm going to take one more big drink, then I'm going to leave it alone because I keep coming off mic to drink this instant cereal beverage.
I mean, it's at peak temperature after all.
We've also, accompanying that, got some lovely beers as well.
We do.
Cereal beverage beer.
None of this is sponsored, but not yet anyway. But
Inca might come through with a hella
sponsorship
deal. You don't want to miss that.
Yeah, I'll contact them, I think. Yeah, so we might as well cheers on this one.
Let's cheers on that. Cheers on this.
Cheers.
Yum.
Cheers,
Have any episodes come out of this podcast yet?
First episode's out.
Cool. Second episode?
This will be the second episode.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's not out yet.
Yeah. Well, it will be out now for those that are watching right now. It's out now.
This
episode is out right now.
Awesome.
For you folks watching.
What did you talk about on the last one? What did you guys get into?
We explored Regal Jason's music because he just released his first EP, which I think he finished producing 2 years ago, but we just went through some of the themes, pretty heavy themes, and some of the tunes.
What's the vibe of the music?
It's like
genre?
experimental electronica. So
awesome.
Pretty almost hyper pop, but like
Some proper production
full
stuff.
produced by. I think the ones we talked about were produced by a friend of mine friend of ours now called Nelson Brightmore, who met. I think they met each other. They were like staying at the same apartment or something, and then they ended up producing together. But really, really great production. Jason does amazing vocals, and
And it's Regal also.
Regal, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you should. I'll show you some pictures. We don't have a screen here, we're not that fancy yet. But if I had a screen, I'd show you. He's
Pull it up,
Regal.
pull it up, Regal.
Pull it up, Sam. Yeah,
Yeah, he would too.
he would pull it up. Just have to imagine a Regal.
It's like crowns and
just look him up.
Yeah.
Just look him
Oh,
up.
they all are. They're all on their
They're on their
personal
thing.
screens. Yeah. Experimenting with the electronica.
But Jack Page, we're here today to talk about you and your music and your life and your existence.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
So 2 EPs are out. There's a live kind of EP album. You got a Slow Movements.
Yeah, 2 EPs and then 2 live records, I guess, of those 2 EPs. So like all the tunes from those records with some extra like live version, like some covers and stuff in there that I recorded with the band, just to kind of fill them up. And then maybe 2 or 3 months ago I put out a 38-minute film kind of record, instrumental, me playing like a baby grand piano, like felted up, covered it and taped it in felt, put it in a big warehouse, like a 1,000 square meter storage warehouse with 3 string players, cello, viola, violin. I went in there for 2 nights and like filmed this whole record, so you can like watch it as well as just listening. So that was a change of, because everything else, it's like soul music for those who don't know. So switching from like soul R&B, maybe even jazz kind of vibes, like singing, to like an instrumental, very contemplative record is a bit of a change of pace.
Yeah.
But it's nice though. I mean, we both listen to so many different types of music. It's nice to like go deep on something that you don't usually go deep on,
Yeah. I remember, Jack, I remember you telling me about it. You were just like, yeah, I'm going to get a grand piano and go into like the biggest warehouse I can find and get some string players and play like contemplative, like almost ambient piano music, and I'm going to film it, and it's going to be the next record.
Yeah, and as a brief, it sounds reasonably simple. And I thought it was. I was like, I'll just like go on a big space. It'll like sound awesome because it's like big and like super reverby, surely. And then I'll like just put some microphones in front of people and away we go laughing. But of course, warehouses are not studios, so they're really hard to record in. I learned that. Also, I had to get these musicians to like memorize music that basically just repeats the same thing over and over again, but very specific changes happen. And so they have to remember like, okay, I play like an A to a B to an A to a B, and that goes around 12 times. But then on the 13th time, it goes A, B, and then goes to C sharp. And it does that twice, and then it goes back to, and so it's like really, and then you're playing, and you're like, is this 11th time or 10th time? No, this is 10. And then And
you did that, did they have sheets? Did they have
no sheets? No,
they weren't allowed.
Well, I wrote sheets for them, so we rehearsed with sheets for a couple of months. But then when we did the actual session, it was no sheets. And we were shooting at night in the middle of summer in New Zealand, so we couldn't shoot till 10:30 p.m. or something. And these are classical musicians who are used to going to bed at 10, so like they were tired. I was tired because we've been working on this project for weeks and weeks. So
and warehouses, turns out, like giant warehouses are actually quite noisy.
Really noisy, yeah. And so like we set it up and it was raining, so we couldn't do it. And then we moved the date again, and then it was too windy because there's this massive space. So if there's even a little bit of wind, you hear like woof, 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 in the microphones. And so then we moved it again, and by the time we'd had all of these cancellations and stuff, like I wanted to shoot it when it was darkish, but we shot it like 2 days before the shortest night of the year. So really, logistically didn't plan out amazingly. But in the mix and in the editing, we managed to kind of find everything that we needed and pull it all together into one thing. And hopefully when you watch it, you don't know of any of the logistical nightmares that went into it, but far out. if anyone's thinking about making a record in a warehouse, don't do it, because it's really hard. Just go to a big studio in a bigger country, but we don't have any of those in New Zealand.
Yeah, it wasn't one of the inspirations was this giant studio in the States, wasn't it? Or in the UK?
Yeah. There's a studio in the UK, in London, but there's big studios all over the place where there's lots of people. And, you go out on YouTube and you watch all these cool live sessions and they all look awesome and sound awesome. And it just made me think that it'd be achievable. And I guess it was, but far out, it was so much harder than I thought it was going to be. And I don't know if I would do it again if I knew how hard it was going to be.
Yeah.
I remember on the first night of shooting. And so it was get there at 9 a.m., had these two guys working on forklifts to move all of the boxes that we had in the space into the corner so you wouldn't see them. The light that we had hung wouldn't shine on them. And then had to go get the piano and move it with the piano movers and get it all in the space and then get it set up, and then got a piano tuner to come tune it. And so I'm there doing that, and then the piano tuner leaves, and then I'm maybe for 1 or 2 hours messing around with felt and getting rid of all the little buzzers and setting up the mics and doing all the way throughout the day. Then the strings arrive, we rehearse, we run through some stuff, we go to start shooting, and there's a buzz in the microphones. You'd put the cans on and you'd hear consistently, and it was that it has got to go, this is impossible.
For ambient contemporary
For an
music.
ambient, and the music is very, very quiet. And
Very
the strings
dynamic.
and the microphones are so super close to all of the instruments. And it was there's a 12-meter ceiling, 12 meters high, and maybe, a third to halfway up this ceiling, 5 meters on the wall, is this black box that you can vaguely hear ringing. And we were oh man. So I climb up, I put a ladder, get this ladder. Very unsafe. I had Caleb McDonald, who's the videographer for the project, good friend of mine and an absolute genius behind the camera, but he's holding the base of the ladder. I'm heading up, clinging on. I put my hand up, turn it off, and then it stops for a second and then starts buzzing again. And turns out it was on a generator. There was no stopping this noise by just flicking a switch. At this point, I've been up there for 5 minutes. I was getting scared of the heights. I come back down, and my sound engineer, Ryan, scurries on up and digs around in the settings and manages to turn the thing off. But that was one of many hurdles. And for half an hour, I was have I just spent heaps of money to then have a record that has all the way through it? But we managed to get there.
Yeah. And how's that going in Japan?
How's it going in Japan? It's doing pretty well in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love because you told me this story about about this email that you got.
Oh yeah, right. For the the first time. I don't know. I mean, we're both independent artists most of the time, and we release with smaller labels and stuff as well. But we're basically running the show for ourselves, and so you get emails all the time from different folks about things. And I got this email from this Japanese person or company or something, and it basically said "Hi Jack, we would like to buy X amount of The Day record," and the record's called The Days, part 1, part 2. There was typos and the grammar was all over the show, and I was maybe this is a scam. There's no way this is real. And then I thought about it for a bit and realized that if it was a scam, all they get is just the record. They don't get any money. They were offering to give me money. I was even if they don't pay, they're going to get records that they're going to have to sell. So I figured, probably not a scam. And it worked out. And so, a bunch of vinyl managed to go to Japan. But I think they just love soul music and just music from the East in general, or the West rather.
Yeah, and anyone that masters a particular thing, in any domain.
We pressed it to vinyl and it was the 2 EPs, but it's 40 minutes of music, so it's feels like a record. And they just like the soul R&B kind of vibe.
So have they hit you up about the slow movements? Yeah,
well, there's an international vinyl. No one can get vinyl made at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this new record is with a label called B3 Psy in in LA, and they're really keen to press it, but at the moment it looks like it's going to be a bit of a wait. But we'll see. It'd be cool to get it pressed.
The
art. I design the art and with vinyl in mind. I want to see it big.
But on your back end of your streaming, is it doing well in Japan? That's my...
It's doing okay, to be honest. Like,
it's doing okay in
it's
Japan.
not doing as well as the soul music. I mean, there was a few things that are tricky, and when we can go deep into this if you want. But with releasing an instrumental record when I've like made a very small name for myself, being a soul R&B kind of guy, who's like a singer, piano player kind of person, and then like a massive lane change to be like, no, this is going to be really soft and repetitive and have kind of a whole bunch of different focuses than the music that I was making. And so when you go to a label and they like wanted to put it out, it's like great, and then you're just starting to think about how to market it to people who don't know that I do this different thing. So it's like a bit of a change. And so that's been a challenge over the last few months. It's like trying to spread this record and have people know that I make this instrumental thing as well as making like a soul R&B, different style of music under the same like project name. Because I've put out records before under different names. Or you do like different duos or bands or all those different kind of things. And it's obvious to people like, it's a different name, it's a different project, like I can expect something different. But I just like put it out under Jack Page, just cause. I also spent a lot of time and resources making it, and I didn't want it to like just sit dead in the water under some other alias. But yeah, like got some playlisting, and I think Asia's doing reasonably well. But like I think Europe also is like a spot. They love that kind of ambient. It's very similar to a few European, German kind of artists who are making similar stuff. So, but no, I'll check the stats. I'll get into the stats.
I just want to know about Japan.
Yeah, me too. I really want to go.
I reckon we both need to crack the Japanese market. It's just like...
Can you imagine a Japanese tour?
Japanese tour. Just like 10 dates.
Yeah. That'd be super fun.
And everyone's like seated and they're just like... But they're fucking into it, you know?
Yeah. I would love... I mean, I'm working on new music that's kind of similar to that double EP that I put out. And I'm hoping it kind of does well enough that I can get over there.
Do you want to play Do you want to play a tune from the new?
Some of the new stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's. I've been working on maybe like, so I went away for summer with some friends, and we travelled and played a few gigs and just went to a bunch of festivals and did the classic New Zealand summer road trip thing. And then I got back and COVID got through our border defence thing, and it was like, man, I had a bunch of gigs booked and touring and stuff for other people, and suddenly had like 6 weeks on my hands with nothing really to do. So I was like, and I was doing a little bit of work and some session stuff, but I was mainly had the days free. So I was like, I'm going to just write for like 6 weeks and just really go deep and just spend heaps of time working on music and just trying to write heaps of songs. And like some of them were okay, and then some of them were like, I reckon these are like proper good. And so then I've been working since summer, the last 4 or 5 months, producing the songs up. Hopefully it'll be out later this year.
So what were your days looking like then? Like you get up, you have a nice instant cereal beverage.
Always, every morning.
Every morning.
Yeah. Speaking of.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I might have a bit of mine as well. Oh dear.
Spilling it. Have a cereal beverage. Yeah, I'm waking up at maybe 10 a.m. Late in the day, I know, but
10 a.m.'s anywhere between 9:30 and 12. That's for musicians. That's
yeah.
Me. That's me.
It is actually.
I'm unashamed.
I've never heard anyone say that. That's really funny. Between 9 a.m. and 12, 100% is. Yeah. And sometimes it is 9:30, sometimes it's 12. You hit the nail,
and that's all right.
On the head.
You got to sleep. Especially singers, we've got to have that sleep.
I mean, we can tell each other it's because we're singers, but I think it's just because we can't be bothered, really. I mean, if you're going to be a musician and be your own boss, you may as well sleep in.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing if you're like, I'm going to be a muso, so like I never have to do what anyone says, and then you wake up and don't get much sleep?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Awful.
Yeah.
We're just not morning people, I think.
That's it. As we make this podcast at 10:30 p.m.
Yeah. I'm just waking up with my cereal beverage.
Instant cereal beverage. Rich and vibrant.
Yeah, vibrant. It is vibrant.
It's very vibrant.
And honest, no ego. And that's what I like about a beverage.
Yeah. So
I'm
you're
waking up
getting
at 10.
Yeah, getting up at 10.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna eat some fruit. And then basically
So which fruit are you gonna eat?
kind of whatever's is on season and cheap. But any the big hitters are your bananas, mandarins, pears, oranges. I haven't been massive on apples the last wee while, but
Tangelos?
yeah, they'll get in there. Nectarines. I see what you've done here. You've got me talking about fruit. We'll get there.
Oh, you brought the fruit in.
I did. No, I'm a fruit man. There's a song by Kool and the Gang. Goes, here comes the fruit man, plenty of fruit from Japan, or something. I don't know the words are. But type in Kool and the Gang, fruit man. It's an absolute banger.
And there's a whole album by the Red Roost Gang.
Sprayed in Acapella Society.
Sprayed in Acapella Society.
Yeah, it's my band with my old housemates now. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, it's sad.
I've moved out.
You moved out?
Yeah, not even a week ago, and I'm already breaking up about it. Yeah, man, lots of tangents. We're going to have to cover Sprayed in Acapella Society and the fruit songs.
And nectarine and Tangelo.
Maybe I just play never of my actual music, and I just play
fruit songs.
The fruit songs. They're pretty good.
So anyway, 10 a.m. instant cereal beverage. We're eating some fruit, seasonal fruit. Bananas always around. Whatever.
Yeah, and I would do like a little bit of admin-y type, kind of talk to like a management type person, or like get on a call, or do a little bit of some sort of work that needs to be done of the get like the tough stuff out the way. But then by like 11 a.m. I was writing till the end of the day, so 11 to 11 kind of vibes. And whether I would actually be properly working in that time was kind of up to me. Maybe I'd take a break in the middle of the day and watch a movie, watch a TV show, do some art. But the thing that was really important for me was that I would like look at the calendar and it would just be empty. And that is a feeling of like, I've got as much time as I need to like let these feelings come to me, and to sit with these tunes and edit them and figure out the lyrics. And I feel like, creative jobs feel different to me than administration jobs or reception jobs or any of those kind of things, where I feel like to get anything done as a creative, you kind of need like a 3-hour chunk or longer. Like to have half an hour to like work on songwriting in the middle of a meeting, or in between, this thing and that thing, is just like not long enough, because you spend, the first hour, dicking around on your phone, and then, playing something that you've already written, or, there's so much time that you can spend just like not doing the work. So to have the whole day and zero excuses, because I don't know about you, but if I have a meeting at like 3 p.m. for 20 minutes, nothing's getting done that day.
No, especially not songwriting.
Well, yeah, maybe stuff's getting done, but like none of the hard stuff.
But like none of the stuff where you actually need to get into a deep flow kind of a vibe to
get
everything done. It's like,
because you wake up and you spend a good couple hours getting into it, and you're there and you're like, all right, sweet, I'm on a roll. Like, this is awesome. I'm getting things done. And then you've got to go and do your thing, and then you come back and it's like, it's all shot. But maybe I'm just really lazy, and I could work harder if I wanted to. But the way I've figured it out is if I just have nothing on, basically, for like a month, and I just clear the schedule, and I do that like every 6 to 9 months, then I can write enough to kind of keep things happening. And then you can do like co-writing, and you can work on other projects, and there's still like other things that can happen.
So you try and find a month, 6-week block?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like really cyclic with everything, I guess, but with projects especially. Like, I feel like as you kind of start writing some tunes or thinking about a record you want to put out, or some singles or an album or whatever the project is, and so that starts with just like thinking about, for me at least, thinking about the instrumentation, thinking about, do I want to produce it on my own, or do I want to work with someone else? If I want to work with someone else, what does that person look like? What kind of skills? What is, all of that kind of stuff. Thinking about the instruments and the sound palette, and how many tracks and what are they about, and I kind of want to like figure all that stuff out first. But then once I've got that, it's just like, all right, I just want to like have some time to just write a bunch of songs, and write a bunch of songs that like are kind of cool but not the vibe, or are like good but like the lyrics aren't really focused, or they're not, for whatever reason, they're just not quite the thing. And so just giving yourself enough time to just like write heaps and it be okay for it not to be awesome the very first demo or the first song you write to be not quite the right thing, because it all end up stealing. Oh, that actually the song topic of that is actually really cool, or that pre-chorus is actually really sweet. I'm going to borrow that phrasing, or the chords in the bridge are sweet. I'm going to steal that for this, or stuff's never a waste. But having some time to actually practice songwriting and get the bad songs out the way, I feel like is really helpful.
Get the backlog out the way.
Yeah, just kind of like, I remember Ed Sheeran, of all people, when I was maybe like 14 or 15, I was watching an interview with him, and he was talking about how it's kind of like tap water, how you got to like run the tap and let the dirty water kind of like come out before you start getting stuff that's good. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of things, whether it's being an instrumentalist or any kind of creative pursuit, spending time and like not being so precious about everything being used and has to be finished and super awesome. Like, you don't have to release everything, so maybe you don't have to be so precious about it being awesome, because don't worry, people aren't going to see it necessarily. And I know that if I've got more time, it's easier to kind of get there. Does it make sense?
There's more space.
Yeah,
you don't have that pressure as well, because there's something magic stuff happens and the like interesting stuff comes out when you're sort of in a sense of play. In a way, or you're in a sense of flow. So plays can be more like cheeky and experimental, and then flow can just be like, oh, I'm feeling something's coming out.
Yeah.
But if you don't give yourself space to do that,
yeah, and I feel like
it doesn't happen.
Yeah, you've got those two parts of your brain where I'm like thinking about. Yeah, there's one part of my brain that's like, oh, what am I doing later on? Or I've got that thing, so I've got to make sure I'm not late for that.
Yeah.
And then there's that thing later on. I should I need to get that together. And then I've got that gig later in the week. I've still got to learn that other thing, or I've got to put tracks together, or got to learn the guitar part, or whatever the thing is. And so when I had just all of those gigs get cancelled, I was gutted, because it was like a bunch of money and work and touring, and it was going to be awesome. But I was like, if this is not going to happen, then I still want these to be a productive few weeks and want to get something out of it. And it was actually like a real blessing. And so I got a bunch of cool songs, and I'm going to play one for you now.
Yeah. I'm going to double check that all the equipment's working.
Yeah, please. Yeah. This tune's called Alone With You. We only just met, I know. But I think you're it for sure. And I haven't been out in a minute. There's something about you, it's different. I think I need some more. I've never seen a face like yours. You know my ride's outside, and we can be at mine in 5. Only wanna spend the night with you. I think I'm feeling this alright. I'll be picking up on vibes, kinda hoping you just might come through. I gotta be alone with you. Alone with you. I gotta be alone with you. Alone with you. The house party is dying down and I'm leaving with somebody. Yeah, we're sticking and we're moving through the bodies. Look at her body, look at her. Okay, it's been a minute. There's something about you hits different. I think I need some more. I've never seen a face like yours. You know my ride's outside. We can be at mine in 5. Only wanna spend the night with you. Think I'm feeling this alright. I be picking up on vibes. Kinda hoping you just might come through. I gotta be alone with you. Alone with you. I gotta be alone with you. Alone with you. We only just met, I know. I think you're it for sure. Yeah. Only just met, I know. But I think you're it for sure. Yeah.
Oh, it's tasty. It's gonna make some noises.
It's gonna make noises. Hopefully,
I'll cut it out.
we'll cut them out.
I'll grab it.
Oh. This blanket needs to just need to get them staple them in the back or some shit.
Tune.
Tune. Thanks, bro. Excuse my post-COVID. Had COVID last week, so it's still a bit fresh in the face.
It's raspy. I like it. Raspy and raw. That's how we
Instant
like it.
cereal, baby.
Instant cereal beverage.
Yeah. So the produced version of that, it's like drums and it's like mostly keys. It has this kind of thing going on, with like flute and trumpet and a bunch of horns and full band.
Similar
Type
tempo.
situation, similar tempo.
Yeah.
So, but it's nice trying it kind of chill on the guitar.
Yeah, sounds beautiful.
But yeah, so I was just spending a bunch of time writing music, and thinking caring way less about the story. I don't know if I want to say being true. Not like these songs are lies, but I don't know, when I first started properly songwriting, I was just so obsessed with the songs being relating to my life and being my lived experience, and that kind of being the really important part of it, and being this song's about this thing and I felt this way, whereas these tunes are just kind of more just vibes. And all of the emotion and experience, and the specific lyrics and stuff, they, that's all still my life, but that's a less, I'm less specific on the details of it, I think. And it just meant I could write songs that were hopefully more chill and just relaxed, because that's how I was feeling when I was writing them.
So do you remember when that one came to be?
Alone with You, I think probably in the first maybe 3 weeks. Felt like it was probably earlier on. Just I like going on YouTube and just finding clips of drummers just jamming, and then I would just steal it off YouTube and just loop a section of it, and then just the drum groove was and I was awesome. Loop that up and then just write the rest and then record real drums, and there you go.
And do you write on piano, guitar, switch around?
Switch around, yeah. Usually piano and guitar, kind of the two things I try to have readily available.
Yeah.
But I find myself kind of coming up with stuff on guitar in that I know I'm a piano player. I studied did a jazz degree in piano playing, and so that's my background. But I think like because that's what I've spent so much time doing, it's really easy to just like spend time being like, oh, I can play this voicing, or I can just like shred notes and not really get anything done. Whereas on guitar, because I'm like, I'm not a guitar player by any stretch of the imagination. I've just like self-taught, just jam kind of thing. The song has to be a lot stronger for it to sound cool, just jamming on a guitar. And so it really meant that I had to like make sure all the melodies were super, super swinging and like make sure that the chords were cool, so that like even if I'm like playing it pretty basically, it still sounds good. And then when I bring it to keys and like a band arrangement, I've like the song hopefully is strong enough on its own that like all of that extra stuff just makes it even better, as opposed to you need the instrumentation to like for the song to work.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean?
I reckon that's the difference between what I call a song or a track.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, right.
There's
And
like
that's another reason
song.
I never wrote. I didn't produce any of these up until like months later. Like they were just like voice memo lyrics with chords written above type thing. Yeah, song versus a track. I like that.
Yeah, like a song's like that. Like you can just get out a guitar or you could literally just sing it.
Like it exists as a thing.
It's like
it's
its
an
own
idea.
thing, and then you can like iterate on it. Whereas a track happens a lot in electronic music, happens a lot in the genre that I'm in. It's just like if you know, especially when there's no vocals on it, it's just some of them are just like two chords.
Yeah.
There's like no song at all.
Yeah.
But it's like, but that's like techno. There's like no songs really. Very rarely in techno is it actually a song. It's just it's just textures and dynamics and stuff, which is beautiful too. But it's not a song.
It's
like
just a different thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have songs with two chords that are still like Dreams, Fleetwood Mac. It's just like two chords,
Yeah.
but it's a song. Like it's so strong. You could play that just on like vocals and bass, and it would be, or just vocals, and it would be awesome.
Yeah.
And then you can arrange it and it can be so iconic in the production, but it's like a separate thing. I
Yeah.
think you can really go
that's still a
over and
song.
above with the production because the song's so strong.
It's carried by the melody and the words,
Yeah.
you know, so strongly that it's.
So I
That's
feel
the
like
thing.
with this kind of music, I'm trying to give myself as many chances as possible of the final thing being as best as it can. Like if I write the song as best as I can, and then I play it as best, and I get the best producers I can find, and the best players and the best mixing engineer, and hopefully it all stacks up into something that's like really cool.
And we at the moment you've actually tracked pretty much all of this new stuff, right?
Yeah. I'm just gonna put out a bunch of singles. I've got like 3 that are kind of all pretty similar, of which that is one, and then one that's like an acoustic, more like a bit of a lane change again. It's kind of it's like guitar, vocals, kind of like kind of dirty production. Just recorded the guitar and vocals with just one mic, and then like doing a bunch of production-y stuff around it. But yeah, pretty much like finished off. But I'm about to move overseas in like a week and a bit, so that's kind of the thing on the cards first, is like getting that stuff sussed, and then once I'm kind of comfy in London, it'll be trying to figure out how to put these tunes out and doing that kind of side of things.
And did you, for the last tunes, did you release them all as singles before you packaged them up as EPs?
Nah, so I've
Quite.
only been putting music out for like 2 years under my own name. So, but like, I put a single out, and that single was from a 6-track EP. And the year after that, I put a single out. No, I think maybe put 2 and then a 5-track EP. And then I've just put out like a 9-track full-length record. And then I think I'm just going to be doing singles for the next wee while. Just because it just gives you more opportunity to really talk about, you know, there's like no chance of the B-sides getting hidden away. And I feel like everything feels pretty strong. And I'm just writing songs, like really strong songs, as opposed to tracks or grooves or that kind of thing. And I've been working on a bunch of those and producing away on some B-sides if I ever want to put together like a record. But at the moment, I'm just like, what are the songs I want to play at shows? What are the songs that people are like, bro, that song? And it's never the B-sides. Although people do enjoy it, you know, it's not to take away from B-sides, but when people are like, good to be alone with you, like that one, so, you know, or whatever the track is, then that's all I want to play too. It's like, I just want to groove and party. And
whatever gives them the right energy that they want, it's like...
Yeah. And it's way easier to do that with those tunes live because the songs are strong, whereas with those tracks, if they feel like they really rely on the production, when you try and play them live, it's like, oh man, how are we going to recreate this thing?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's magic in the bottle on the track, but trying to figure out like what are the drums going to do, or how to play things live is a whole another thing.
And I think that's a good approach doing the singles thing. I saw there's a thread that Jacob Lee, shout out to Jacob Lee, lowly lyricist, put it on his Twitter. I don't know when he posted it, but it's pinned at the top of his Twitter, and it's like he's got 500 million streams across platforms.
Yeah, well,
And he's put all his like principles on how he did growth, and one of them was like, release one song a month. He released one song a month for 2 years, and he does music videos for his YouTube channel. He'll do a music video. He'll do a lyric video that's like, but it's actually like him, and it's like an actual, basically another music video, but it's like a lyric video, and he'll do an acoustic version of that video, and then he'll do official audio. So there's like 4 versions of
crazy.
every song has like YouTube content that goes through 4 different things, and then every and he's done. I think he's packaged some into albums after they've done the singles.
That's
because
crazy.
like you get so much more runway out of each single, so much you can get out of each one. And then the other one was that he was like something that you've done really well is that he was like, don't skimp on production, like on everything. If you're gonna put something out, put the production, make the production.
Yeah, cool. I mean,
especially for music,
we've worked hard to try and do the live thing, trying to make live videos for tracks. So there's like especially as like someone that like I feel like live is kind of where I probably am most comfortable playing, and whether that's playing with other people's bands or playing my own music, that's like I just love doing that whole thing. And so we've spent a lot of time trying to create videos where you can hear it on the track with all of the extra bells and whistles of production, and you can do some fancy, more hi-fi things, but then to just play it with like the band, just in a room and shoot it well, and that's like really fun. So, and I'm keen to do that with these new tunes too over in the UK. I'm like trying to find some players and find a studio and do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But people are into it, and I'm into it. That's what I want from the artists that I love. Is like I want to hear the record and love it, but then watch the video of you playing it live at some festival or in the studio or whatever the thing.
And enjoying it, just like vibing it out.
Yeah. But then like a lyric video and a music video, that's just like.
Yeah. I think he's definitely got a bit of a team at this point, but yeah, very hardworking. He's got a kid too.
It's exciting too with a project like to take a song and not just put it out as a song, but like, all right, we're gonna make a real package out of this. Like, let's box it up and put a nice bow on it, and like, it's like you've got the song, but you've got the live version and the lyric, and I feel like it maybe gives it more meaning and more. I don't know. There's something more to it.
Yeah, and I was in a Twitter Spaces last week with Unchained Music, and we had this lady come on. She'd been in like the 90s hip hop scene and like spoken word scene back in the day, and
in New Zealand.
No, in New York.
Oh, cool! Like proper.
Proper like. Yeah, she's
the
like
scene.
Scene stuff, and I think she's a singer and has been in the scene for years and all the ups and downs. But she was saying that 2 things that she said, which were pretty resonant, but one that relates to this was like, she's like, if you're gonna put music out or create music, it's eternal. It's out there forever. As long as civilization exists. But hopefully that's a long time in the right way. But you know what I mean? Like it's eternal. It's something that goes out forever. So like treat it as such. Like treat it with the dignity and respect and stuff that it deserves. Because you don't know who's going to be listening to it in 1 year, in 10 years, in 50 years, 100 years. Someone might listen to your tune. If it's good enough, like Dreams, like you said before, that's an eternal song. Still going strong. We've played that at covers gigs, and there's like the girls just go nuts. 18-year-old girls go nuts for Dreams now. Came out with
and
70s,
people know it more than
1970s.
just the like that melody's so iconic, but like the drum fills and the little guitar riffs, like people know them really, really well, and they stick with you in a different way.
Considering the whole thing, right? The other thing that she was saying was like, she's like anthropologically speaking, music is this like it's a religious experience basically. It's like a spiritual religious experience where people come together and it moves them, and they're not like dogmatically religiousness, with rules and stuff. Just in the classical sense of what it is, it's like a bunch of humans to come together, having this like group feeling
something
and
that
moving
moves,
together
moves
you like emotionally or physically or both, you know. And that's something to be taken, you know, on the one hand really seriously, so you you give it the attention and package and stuff that it deserves. But on the other hand, you still gotta have fun with it. It's like it's still cool playing music, still play, right? So it's like this nice balance between the two. And I think you did that really, really well with your music, like in the way that you do that. The production's amazing, the songwriting's amazing, and yeah, the live videos are dope. I haven't seen too many of your live shows, because I've just always been lining up with like other crazy stuff.
Yeah, we're often like either on the same bill at different time at the same time, or like different shows in different cities.
Yeah,
or
it's annoying.
yeah, it's the way it goes. I feel like that with a bunch of keyboard players, because as a piano player, I'm a massive fan of so many players, especially in New Zealand. And like it's like ships in the night a little bit. You don't get to see people so much because, you don't really get in the room super often. We're trying to crank up. You're talking about the play idea. We're really trying to crank up the play knob.
Yeah,
in terms of it just being like fun.
Because like Jed does that a lot in his shows, right? Like Jed, our friend Jed Parsons, who's coming on this podcast in a wee while, but.
Well,
they do some. You play with the band.
I play with
they
play
do
with
some
Jed.
Ridiculous shit. It's so funny.
Yeah, and I've had conversations with him on like we'll be driving to go play a gig on the road or something, and you've got to look across at you and go, "Is it like it's not like too much, is it? It's like," and I'm like, "Nah, man, it's like great," but like it's very much. I don't know, but when anyone talks about someone like Jed's music, it's like we all love the music and it's amazing, but it's him as a personality that's the. So, he's like, that's what really brings people to his shows, I think, and sells those tickets. And so when I think about like, what's selling why people coming to one of my gigs, and I think the thing that I need to lean into is like it's groovy and dancey and fun and like engaging.
Yeah. It's dynamic.
Yeah, and I love going to like a folk gig and it's all very quiet and weird, introspective and soft, and it's got a whole bunch of other flavors. But I think when a gig's just like so grooving that you just like can't help but just like smile like that's the real.
Well, you've curated those like with your band, but also with like you did a 2000s.
Yeah, look at us.
Battle
There's people in audio land who are wondering why we're laughing, but there's a couch with a sheet on it. We're trying to make it look very nice, but it's not really playing ball.
Drawing heaps of attention to. But you've done like did you do a James Brown thing? You did like.
Done a few things,
you know, like you arrange like a whole show, and then there's like, what was the last one? It's like 20 band members or something stupid. And like
we had 18 people.
Yeah,
19
singers.
On this, maybe 20 people. It was stupid.
All the 2000s bangers. Like what are the few bangers that you guys played?
We played. Yeah, it was like Black Eyed Peas, Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake. You know, Lupe Fiasco, Kanye. Like
you did Kick
Scissor
Push.
Sisters. Yeah, we played Kick Push.
That was another gig where I was away. I was in Wellington.
You were traveling.
I was with my family. It was like my brother's birthday, and my other brother was leaving to Germany. So I was like, okay, I can't.
Yeah, but like I was
gutted because I was like, that would have been the bit like so much fun, and I heard it was just incredible. Like that's the energy. You've got like 20 band members that are swapping in and out, horn section, drummer, like full band, and you're playing these like tunes that people know so well.
I mean, that's like I don't really have any more fun than those gigs like in my life.
Yeah.
Like those they're so fun.
Yeah.
And when we had like a 10-piece band, so 6 or 5 horns, so like a euphonium, trombone, trumpet, tenor sax, alto sax. And so I'd taken 35, all of like my 35 favorite songs from 2000 to 2010, and then arranged them all with the horns, playing like the BVs or the horn lines, and write them all out, and then got like 10 singers and rappers, and asked them to all learn a few songs each, and then it was just like people just coming up, going off, like playing through this like the greatest set list of all time, and everyone in the band, of course, or like in the crowd, and we like sold out the venue. It was so fun, and people are like, every song it's like, oh, I know this one, and they go deep because I was a teenager when those songs were coming out, so it's like those they really hit.
Yeah.
And so fun. And so I did the same thing with a set of James Brown tunes, and I've done it a few different times with like a different set. But it's so fun. Fun.
It's just like a dynamic energy that you get. We've got friends in a band called Yurt Party here in Christchurch.
Well, they do a similar thing.
Yeah.
Where you're there and you're just like, this it's just like the energy is next level.
Next level when, there's anywhere between 3 and 7 or 8 of them,
Yeah,
depending on the night, and they play this like
world music. Eh?
Baltic kind of, gypsy jazz almost. Yeah, like really, really hectic stuff that you'd hear in a Europe party, literally.
Yeah.
But the energy at those shows, similar to the a Jack Page show with a big band or the covers, like big covers band gigs, it's like there's just this incredible exchange between the crowd and the band, and the crowd will dance like crazy, and it's you just don't get that with smaller
There's
things.
also with both of our sets a lot of improvising.
Yeah, well that's as well.
So it's like we've got
the jazz musicians.
Yeah, there's some pretty good players, and so you get 5, 6 solos in the gig. Just like people really, really playing.
Yeah, like just like ripping it out, and it's a good time to do that because you're not like in a. It's just fun music, so you can just be fun with the way you improvise, right?
Really,
you can really just have fun.
And I'm excited about the prospect of moving because in New Zealand, it's like you play a run of shows. The longest tour I've maybe done is like 10, maybe 12 shows, and you get to the end of that, and you're like, now I'm really like we're sounding proper on, even though I know what's going on, and then the tour ends. So I'm excited to play, hopefully 20, 30, 40 cities. And I've heard from the musos that do that kind of stuff that like show 20 is like you just like you're sounding so much better than show 5, and that everyone really knows the music well. The moments for play and creativity and improvising are, and where it can get wild, and the moments where it needs to be the exact same every time. And once you're comfortable with that, it's like you're laughing. Nothing can really go wrong. It's kind of unstoppable a little bit.
Yeah, everyone feels it, and you feel it, eh?
Yeah.
Have you got another tune for us? Because I'm going to have to get the old camera. It's got a recording capacity on this camera that we're looking at right here, and I'm going to have to start it again.
Yeah,
it's probably
let's
a good
another
point
one
to jump into another one. So I'll get it going, and then we'll jump into another.
Nah, mate, looks awesome.
What about the arm now?
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I feel like if you were like in here for a whole week working all day, it'd be like 3 days, and this whole sheet would just be like bunched up, just like. Was it gone?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. This is a tune off a record called The Days Part 2, and it's called Play That Too.
Oh yeah.
Actually, before I play it, it's a bit angry.
It is. It's a bit upset, that one.
I'm not really an angry guy. Going back to what we were talking to before about like the songs being real, this is one of those ones where I was like, yeah, this is like how I feel, and I was like, for whatever reason at the time was like, that was really the be all end all. Like, people have to know how I feel. And then it's like, no, they don't. Why do they have to? Like,
they don't have to, but they might relate to it.
I don't know. I just was like, also, I don't know, the idea of it being very, very, like, I don't know, the lyrics always being really descriptive and accurate, and I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, this is called Play That Too. You've been with somebody new, 'cause I was never enough, yeah. I guess my friends were right about you, that I'm better off, yeah. And I know my mom, she taught me better, but I think she'd make exception for you, 'cause I can play that too. I can leave a lover out in the rain. I can catch a trip never to return home again. I can tell you that I love you when I ain't, yeah. I can play that too. I can leave a lover out in the dark. I can tell you it meant something, but when we're apart, I can tell them that I knew right from the start. I can play that too. Ooh, 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 yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. And I don't need to know who. I have heard enough, yeah. I just hope it's someone who doesn't need to feel loved, yeah. And I know my mom, she taught me good. Use my words just like a good boy should, yeah. But oh, if she knew what I knew, I think she'd make exceptions for you. 'Cause I can play that too. I can leave a lover out in the rain. I can catch a trip never to return home again. I can tell you that I love you when I ain't. I can play that too. I can leave a lover out in the dark. I can tell you it meant something, but when we're apart, I can tell them that I knew right from the start. I can play that too. Ooh, 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 yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. I can play that too. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
The old dirty organ sound on the Prophet there.
Yeah, it's a nice wee one, eh?
Oh, yeah. It's interesting because I could hear there's some lyrics that I hadn't heard I hadn't properly like rocked in the studio version, even though I've heard it a bunch of times. I
Yeah,
could hear
yeah,
it, and
yeah.
when I'm hearing it just raw like that, it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that tune's big on the like I feel so wronged, and even like when I look back at that that music and the story of all of that stuff, I kind of like laugh to myself, like what an overreaction almost. Like you just like because like you're so in the moment of like the emotion of whatever the thing is, but versus when I look at these tunes that are newer, I'm like I don't know, but maybe just like new songs and they relate more because they're newer. Who knows?
Yeah, it's always a push and pull that other day. Like we just played a show last weekend and we've got a whole bunch of new tracks.
How much old stuff are you playing? Is there any old stuff?
Yeah, there's a few.
How old is the oldest?
2019.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And how does it feel singing that? Because this song I wrote like a year and a half ago. It's not even that long ago. Maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah, this is like 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, right.
And you just hear, I don't know. For me, I can hear like the production difference, quality. What I was really same with like what I was really focused on for like what I should be singing about and how I'm feeling and stuff. You know, but it's interesting. You just have to go into it and get the feedback from the people listening to it because that's what matters more. I think like it matters what I feel, but if it's still resonating heaps with some of the old stuff with someone else, then like who am I to say?
Yeah. And we like. I feel like
it.
yeah. Then that's kind of your job. Like, if you think like from writing the tune to like coming up, figuring out, playing with the chords for ages, trying to figure out what the right chords are, working on the lyrics. No, rewrite that verse. That's lame, or that doesn't quite work. Or you spend so much time workshopping these things. Then like producing it, or maybe make a demo myself, and then like make a produced version myself, and then take that to a producer, and we build it up even more, and then we have a bunch of sessions working on it there, and then you take it to a mixing engineer, and you do like 3 rounds of mix there. And then you get it mastered, and then someone might listen to it and still not even be that into it. After all of that work. And so I feel like you really need, it's worth spending that time just like really thinking about all the different things. Because there's people who like the number of times people sing that song to me and they sing the words slightly wrong. And it's like, shouldn't, you can't be mad at that because they like this tune and, of course they're not going to get everything exactly right. And it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, exactly. They're just feeling it.
They're just feeling it.
I mean, at least people can understand what you're singing.
Is that you people are like, what's going on?
No, they can't. Half the stuff they can't understand what I'm singing. And so you hear them in their Instagram videos videoing the live show, and they're just like,
yeah, right,
like, cool,
just reverb
it out. But yeah, it's
I mean, I really sell it. I'm like feel like I'm really saying the words as much as I can.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's also part of the genre thing, right?
Yeah,
You either vocals can be kind of more of a vibe, or they're like pop, especially in the more slightly poppier world. We've got some poppier tracks soon. You're like, you have to enunciate. You want people to know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just a different strokes for different
vibe,
genres, I guess.
Yeah, but that's good fun. So, I reckon I want to hear one more of the new ones. And I want to hear a little bit more about the creative process on these new tunes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Should I play one that's a bit maybe a bit sillier?
Whatever you feel it. Whatever you reckon.
Let me have a think. No, actually, I'm going to play.
What are you most excited about? What are you enjoying the most? That's what I want to hear.
I'm gonna play. There's one that's a little bit silly, but to be honest, I don't know if it really. I don't know if the soul. I feel like for the silliness to really be appreciated, and if you're listening to this in the future and the song's out, you'll know which one I'm talking about. Because it's like the songs are all about like love and like, very normal song subject, and then this one's called Sports Team.
Oh, Sports Team.
Yeah. You've heard this one. Yeah. But it's like. When I was writing it, I was just giggling to myself. Like, I think this is great, but it's like, it's very, very playful.
Yeah.
But no, there's a tune that I'm going to play, which is called...
now you've teased it around.
Yeah. So go listen to that, and it's out now, I'm imagining.
Maybe. This will be out this week.
Okay, it's not out now, but it'll be out.
Yeah.
It'll be out in 2022 at some point, hopefully.
Yeah.
If not in the future. But the tune I am going to play, which I'm going to get everyone very hyped on, is called Run Into the Night. And this is kind of what I was talking about before, where it's just like not taking it so seriously and like still singing about what I care about and things that matter to me. But yeah, not feeling like I have to tell a very specific narrative story in my mind, which, to be honest, never comes across anyway. I don't even know why I was so focused on it. People are never coming on about, I know exactly, like you were talking about this thing and this thing and this thing. It's like, everyone relates to their own personal experience, right?
Especially in music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one's about running into the night.
Oh, right.
Are we going to switch stuff over? No.
Take us there, Jack Page.
I'm going to play it on this.
You're going to play on the guitar?
Mm-hmm. Get this up here. That'll be all good, eh?
Should be sweet.
This is Run Into the Night. I'm not made of anger, I'm made of tears. I don't have all the answers to my fears, but won't you come out tonight, baby? Oh, won't you come out tonight, baby? I'm not one for dating, I just dive right in and do whatever you say, babe, 'cause that's what love is. Oh, won't you come out tonight, baby? Oh, won't you come out tonight, baby? 'Cause it's unusual how much I'm feeling you. The next thing we should do Let's fall in love, babe. I feel the beat, I wanna move with you under the moon. Does that sound alright? Let's run into the night. Ooh, let's run into the night. Ooh, ooh, does that sound alright? I think about you, even when you're not around, you surround me. You're like a painting by Salvador Dali, just persisting in my memory palace. But won't you come out tonight, baby? Oh, won't you come out tonight, baby? 'Cause it's unusual how much I'm feeling you. The next thing we should do is fall in love, babe. I feel the beat, I wanna move with you under the moon. Does that sound alright? Let's run into the night. Ooh, let's run into the night. Ooh, does that sound alright?
Yeah. Oh, there he goes. And that little ooh part, is that played on a horn? Horns?
It's all horns, yeah,
all horns
yeah.
and-
Heaps
yeah, I
and
think
heaps
I've
of
heard
horns.
that,
Yeah,
I've
there's
heard
like hits and all sorts. I'll give you this. What do you think, San?
San?
You liked it?
San's quite very austere. He's just chilling. Chilling with the boys. Vocals. How did you I love
Vocals, how? Oh.
Dude, is there anything in particular that you do around like vocal technique or vocal health or any of that stuff to get like
Yeah, I
because
mean,
your
like a
intonation is like it's like I sing and I'm all over the show, especially live.
I was thinking like, oh, it's like just in tuning and all that kind of carry on.
Yeah. I think my ears are just blocked or something. But did you learn any particular vocal stuff? Do you use any particular techniques or anything like that?
Yeah, well,
Wait, I do have in mind you've just come out of COVID, so you're probably still it's a bit raspy, but it's still beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting setup. So I'm still a bit coldy and all that kind of buzz. But no, I have been singing longer than kind of anything. I sang in like choirs all the way through like primary school and intermediate, and then in high school I sang in maybe like 3 choirs at school, and then I sang in the university one like before I was at university, and then I auditioned for New Zealand has like age group like national choirs for different age groups. So there's like a secondary students age one, and then there's like a youth age one from 18 to 25, and I auditioned for those and sang in those until I was like 21, 22, and so that's what I really accredit my ears in terms of being able to like know the function, like know what the number note I'm singing in the scale, or being able to tune versus other people, or singing a part that no one else is singing, all that kind of stuff. And you learn how to like sight sing and read music and about the theory side of things. But more than anything, it like just got me singing and like familiar with like all the different things that your voice can do. And I would sing like things like opera chorus stuff where you're singing like a way different style to like some sort of romantic like classical kind of tone. And in that world I was the only person doing a contemporary degree or like studying contemporary music. I was like the weird jazz kid, which is hilarious now, because in like the music industry, everyone, if they have music training, it's in the jazz world, like most of the time. Otherwise, people haven't really had any training, like formal training at all. But in that classical world, I was like oh, you don't study classical voice. Like what's going on?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was definitely like kind of like one foot in both camps. But now like I'm very, very like I would definitely classify myself as like as contemporary music kind of person, and don't feel qualified to talk about really anything pre 1900 in terms of like the history or the music or like this. I just know so many people who know so much more. But I still love a lot of that music, and am very grateful, although I don't really do much of it anymore, for that like choral kind of world.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. And also like I've had bad eyes my whole life, and I remember when I was like 5 or 6, like my glasses were taken away, and I had was patched up to try and get one of my eyes to work better, and it didn't even work. But I reckon that might even have had a little bit to do with it as well.
Because you're just more focused on your other senses.
Yeah, well, just like vision wasn't quite there. My eyes still aren't amazing, but like my ears have always been good. I don't know. I've never really felt like I was always a kid with the ears than the kid with the chops. That's for sure. Like I could listen to stuff way before I was being able to play.
That's interesting.
So yeah, so like in terms of technique, everything kind of like comes from that. In terms of like, yeah, singing with, like trying to use muscles, essentially trying to not use these muscles to support the sound, and like trying to sing with as little tension as possible, basically. Because the less tension there is, the longer you can sing for, and the more you can sing without getting tired or sick or that kind of stuff. So it's essentially trying to move the tension to muscles that can deal with it well, which is like the diaphragm, which is why people always sing using that, because it's like a massive, and that's what we like shout with. So if you sing with it, it's like really hard to tire.
And it's not singing's a weird one. Like
it's so weird.
It's so weird.
It's so different to an instrument thing.
Instruments, like it's like learning to ride a bike or something. Like guitar, once you learn how to play guitar, you know how to play the guitar. Like
and
you can lose your
like
chops.
You can see it.
You can see it. You can feel it. Like you can lose your chops, but you know how to play it, or piano, or any.
And it's less person specific as well. It's like with the voice, it's everyone's got a different like range and tone, and there's some work and exploring you can do to like change what you sound like and all of that stuff. But you are limited to your own voice. You know, I'm not going to be able to sound like singer X like just because I want to.
You can't sound like San.
No one can sound like San.
No one can sound like San.
No, and that's why he's sitting here so smugly. He knows it. We know it.
We know it.
What is going on? Is this a tie or?
Carla
like
put that
bash,
on
a badge,
some kind of decorum.
Yeah, I like it.
It's good. It's suave.
Definitely.
It's always been very suave. Yeah.
Have you been singing? Like, how long would you say you've been singing for?
I
Since
was
like high school, at least, right?
I was a late bloomer at like 15 or 16.
Right.
I did not want to sing like at all. It was like the last thing I wanted to do. I just wanted to play. I wanted to be like Joe Satriani or something.
Yeah, right.
I actually
didn't we all?
And then I got forced to sing at music school, and then
and
they were like, oh, if you want to do level 1 music, you got to do singing lessons. And I was like, nah, I've just doing more guitar lessons. They're like, no, you got to do singing lessons. And then I did it, and then singing teacher Helen Charlton. Shout out to Helen Charlton. She's amazing, and she broke me out of my shell. But
yeah, cool.
it's just a weird instrument. Like I noticed. I'm wondering if you experience this. I noticed like with guitar, I don't forget. Like, I mean, not even an amazing guitar player, but I just don't forget any of the things I learned about the guitar. I just lose chops, some maybe.
Right.
But with vocals, it's like there's principles and stuff. But I like there's like periods where I'm just singing like every gig I can just smash it and I sing real easily and it's great, and like intonation's great and everything. And then like it's almost like a spiritual thing or something. Like after a while, I like somehow forget, and then I'm like singing like crap, and I'm like kind of eating shit at gigs and stuff. Like it's never bad. Right. Like no one's ever like, oh, you did a bad gig, but to my own standards, I'm like, I'm not up to the par. And it's like, what? How was like that good like 2 months ago, like for like 10 gigs, and now I'm like not good for like 3 gigs, you know, to my own standards.
Right. You just might feels more difficult sometimes than other times.
It's like a weird. It's like feels like it's like centered in the body. If you're into the music and your body's there, and I noticed recently it's like singing softly. Not softly necessarily, but not singing super loud is like super useful. You don't have to fucking belt.
And I think it's like,
I think a lot of singers don't sing. They sound like they're singing loud.
Yeah,
But they're
yeah,
not
right.
necessarily like
yeah. So
going
there's a
for it.
massive like range
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I think for me often it's like hydration is like plays so much more of a factor than I ever think it should, or it does. And that like if I'm really well hydrated, / like even being in air conditioning, like in the modern world, like so many spaces are heated by sucking the air, the water out of the air, which leaves your mouth dry. And if things are dry and like just you tire way more easily. So like every artist who tours, basically who's a singer, has a steam
Yeah,
thing.
that's right.
And I don't have one, and but I'm like if I'm just because I just don't sing on every gig that I play. I'm mainly like a session player, and singing like backing vocals type of thing. It doesn't like not so front and center. But if I'm like traveling more and singing on more stuff, I'm definitely going to get in that camp because they just work. Every singer who has one is like, oh, dude, it's like how not to get sick and how to stay all moist and nice in the voice and the steam buzz. So maybe that's what the issue is. But I'm also just like a massive nerd. I've always been a massive nerd about music and about singing and like I remember like even 2 or 3 years ago, and I kind of still do this now, but I used to do it a lot more, which is just like I would just like sing like just do like little singing exercise games to improve my inner ear and ability to pitch stuff and like do, I remember the like one that I used to spend heaps of time doing, which was like trying to sing like if you think like a major chord, like trying to skip out the middle note. So
cool, yeah.
but do it with and then go from, and then move everything up one note. So and sing that, be able to sing that triad. So like, do, 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 like being able to sing that.
Yeah.
When I first tried it, there was just like no way. Because like to be able to pitch those notes, they're all big intervals.
Yeah.
They're not intervals that you usually really have to sing. Usually it's like scalar or like small steps. And so it went from never like no chance to be able to pitch that to being able to pitch it reasonably easily, and then like finding more and more little games like that. And I would just like sing in the car, sing in the shower, sing while making food, doing what and yeah, just got more and more comfortable with my like being able to pitch stuff or being able to hear the note that I had to sing or whatever the thing was. Just becoming more like familiar with it.
That's great. I think.
But I had like the luxury of doing it since I was younger, which is just cheating, isn't it?
You got more time and more like.
And just young.
You get more
when you're young, your
stuff,
brain's just
like,
better at soaking it up, and
yeah.
it just feels like cheating. Yeah. My parents aren't musicians, but like that's like the ultimate cheating.
Yeah.
If you've got parents as musos, it's like you're just gonna get that stuff. I mean, your dad's pretty sweet on the music.
He's
so
pretty good.
Had that.
He's more musical than me in a lot of ways. And, he's also done it for like 50.
He's more keen
years.
than all of us.
He's more keen than all of us.
Yeah, which is really the metric.
Yeah.
That you want, eh?
Yeah. Oh, what's his name? Bobby McFerrin said that.
Yeah,
I mean, he does like a Bach prelude.
Yeah, I mean, and so that's like what I'm talking about to like the nth degree. Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Yeah,
all that stuff, and he does like the whole, and then he gets Ave Maria to sing. He gets the crowd to sing Ave Maria. I love it. You're just like.
So for someone like that, it feels as if there's no real disconnect between like what his mind can think and hear and what his voice can do. Like it's instantaneous. If he has a thought or an idea or something he wants to sing, he can have that happen. And I feel like that on the piano, like most of the time, and singing a good chunk of the time.
Yeah.
This damn sheet. And I think in terms of like practice and trying to like be better at music in order to be a better communicator of the emotions that music is, then that is like the name of the game. It's just like if you can go from an idea to expressing it with zero barrier, then you're just like that is it.
Yeah, that's a super interesting one. That's something I noticed with like a lot of people that went through jazz school is that they'd gone through the tedium of learning the key, like every single note of the whole spectrum really well throughout whatever instrument they had, and the ways to improvise in different styles, and just being kind of like grind so that it's a fluency in the language of music.
It's like learning all the colours. if you're an artist.
If you're like, but if you didn't know what green was and you're like, I want to paint a tree. Like, have to,
yeah. Or like if you think about, I don't know, just like really realistic painting, like color matching is a massive part of that whole process. Like how do you make the colors realistic and like look to the eye as they do in real life? And I imagine it's like really hard to do that with no training. But I don't know. Is that what you learn at art school? I actually really don't know.
Yeah, probably. But you're
I'm
like,
imagining it's like a similar buzz of
I've
just
got
like
this like picture of this orangutan in my head.
And if you spend heaps of time painting things, getting it wrong, and then someone going, "Oh, the reason this looks bad is because of this, this, and this," and if you improve these things, it'll be better. Yeah. Having like a specific school where you go to like learn all of that.
Yeah,
it was like really helpful.
Yeah. No, it makes
it's also like you know Age of Empires guy.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
You know, like when you start, the map is just black, and all you know is where you are.
The fog of war.
Yeah, I feel like going to music school is like going around the map, and you just unlock all of the different things. Like, here's all the different things you can do in the major key.
Yeah.
Here's all the ways you can play this chord that sound nice, and all of the different aspects. Like, here's how it works. And then you have the keys to the castle. You can just do whatever you want.
Well, keys to the castle, but there's also discernment, which is the other interesting side of it, which we've talked about before, but I'd love to get into. I'm going to reset the camera for our last little patch.
Please.
Maybe we can hear one more tune to finish off the podcast after that. But I remember you and I have had this yarn about discernment, and we're going to get there in a second once I reset the camera.
Okay, cool.
Don't go away, folks. We'll be back soon with Jack Page.
Is this when there's a sponsor?
There would be a sponsor normally, but I mean, as of right now, there isn't a sponsor.
Yeah,
but potentially there will be.
Got a sponsor yet?
I might be jumping in after this point and being like,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Unchained Music Studio 721 is brought to you by Inca Instant Cereal Beverage.
Ooh.
Rich and vibrant, 100% caffeine free. I think we might have gone over time with the camera.
Really good.
I know, just so good. But I think this yarn's cool. Is the yarn about
Squeaky jacket.
Squeaky jacket. The yarn about because there's learning the whole map. Someone like yourself who's been through quite an extensive amount of training through like the choral stuff as a youngin and singing a lot and also training yourself and then also going through jazz school is like a huge base of knowledge there and a huge amount of practice time. And then someone like myself who went to a more production songwriting sort of thing and did music myself, but didn't have probably frankly the discipline to do all of the proper like training. But we've both turned our original music into, there's a whole spectrum of what success is. There's like Bruno Mars, and then there's like, the guy that makes garage guitar in his basement with no
never
fans.
puts it out.
And never puts it out and doesn't want to. And we're somewhere along that spectrum. But people that are just starting out would consider us successful with what we've got on Spotify and the shows that we've played and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So in that range, we've both found that that outlet for our music that people appreciate and show up to shows and buy the records and stuff like that. And, we've both seen folks that, have that entire map, but are missing that part of knowing what's actually going to culturally hit in a way, or what's going to move people, or having that sense of discernment of knowing that the music's good, even if it's simple. There's some people that overcomplicate it, make it too jazzy, too weird, too classical, and it just doesn't resonate with certain people, or they, for whatever reason, they just can't find that balance of like musicality and complexity, but with like vibe and taste and feeling. And then on the other spectrum, there's folks that have that discernment, they know what they like, but they don't have any musical training, so they end up being, might be tastemakers or DJs or other things. They didn't learn that training, but they've got the discernment like down. They know exactly what sounds good and feels good. It's an interesting conversation, right? Especially with like AI and everything coming, it's freaking everybody out. Is you've got to have both of those things. Ideally, if you're going to...
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, I think you only really need to have one, which is taste.
Yeah.
That's what I think that's what I believe. I don't really know what I believe. We're all just kind of figuring it out. But I think like, I don't know. I know like a lot of musicians who are trained like and have studied formally, and a lot who haven't. And the ones that are working all have taste, and the ones who aren't working as much maybe don't have as much taste. Like that's pretty much like 100% correlation between like whether people are working or not. It's just like
whether it's like working in the
just is your shit cool?
Yeah.
Basically, is it cool?
Is it happening?
Is it happening? And the conversation around what that actually means is like different for everything. But like the people that I want to work with for my own music are just people that I'm like, nah, you just get it in whatever facet I want to employ you in. And if you know, if knowing like, you know, the sharp 11 note on this scale is this note fast is useful to do that job, then awesome. And for a lot of time, for the work that I'm doing, that's actually useful information because I'm like playing on someone's record, and when they say like, I want it to sound like kind of bright, I need to know like that they mean this mode, or I want it to sound like kind of like underwater, know that I like low pass filter or at this or whatever, you know, knowing the technical to achieve the emotional descriptions of stuff. And sometimes formal training helps with that, and sometimes it doesn't. But you don't need it to like get the job done. And there's like some people out there, and I'm jealous of them most of the time because they just don't even need it. They're just like don't even need to know what the chord's called or anything or what key we're in, or like it's just I'm playing music and I have taste and it's awesome. And with those people, it's like, yeah, they can't be stopped.
And it's an interesting one. It's like, you know, there's a lot of folks think that a lot of musicality is like born, like it's a gift that you've had, and some of it there probably is some component of that of like your conditioning of growing up and parents and stuff. But a lot of folks that are very musical have done a lot of work to get there, or they've been in an environment as a youngin where they've had plenty of it around and it didn't feel like work, but it still was. You know, like the hours have been put in. But it's, you know, and maybe it's the same for taste. You know, if your parents had a crazy record collection, you had heaps of stuff, or whatever it was, some kind of environmental, you know, factors that made you learn and hear lots of music and understand a specific part of the music that makes you like know what taste is. But it's a curious one, right? Like I think for at least our journey, and you know, as I said, on the spectrum of like garage guitar dude and Bruno Mars, you know, we're still probably definitely in the lower part of that scale still, but we've got a reasonable amount of success. And it didn't start like that. Like it came from a bunch of failed projects before that, and failure is just learning, so it's not a bad thing. But it came from a bunch of failed projects before that, and I think the critical thing for me was to actually just have radical self-honesty about the track, and like actually having the courage to like put it up against the world and not be afraid of people to be like, no, that sucks, or like just actually listening to it and being like, is this actually good? Does it hold up to like what other people are releasing in this genre or in this like kind of niche that I'm working for? And
that's why the taste's important, because it's like you're essentially like, do I believe in this? Like, do I think this is cool? Is like the question you ask yourself, right? Like if I wasn't the one who made this, would I reckon it's awesome?
That's it. That's it.
And I reckon, you know, believe it or not, sometimes I put stuff out and I'm like, to be honest, I don't even know if I would listen. Like I don't even know if I would be into this. Because maybe I don't listen to the stuff that's, you know, that's a whole other conversation about what I listen to and whether it's like exactly like what I'm making or not. But that's just like, the stuff that you're making that decision every time, whether you're producing or you're writing, like you're making lots of little decisions constantly. Should I go to this chord or should I go to that chord? What's a cool lyric? What's the right sound? All of those questions. And they're all to do with taste all the time. And so if you like know what you like and have strong opinions about what's cool and what's not cool, and those are good opinions, well, at least I think your opinions are good, or you know, then you can do the thing, hopefully. But it's way easier to teach someone like what notes go on an F major 7 chord than like what makes this recording cool and this recording lame. If you don't know already, you know, or like, you know, whatever the thing is.
It's mostly a feeling, It's mostly a feeling, mostly an intangible feeling. You hear something and it makes
you could talk
something.
about it all day, and you can start like, you can definitely teach like, you could talk to someone about why I reckon this recording's awesome and what I reckon is lacking in this other thing. You know, you compare stuff. But people who know just know. Like, I don't know about you. I've done a fair chunk of teaching music as well as playing it. And you have this if, you know, and for 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, like when we were coming up, there's kids who you can tell just know instantly, even if they like suck. They're just really, really, really keen to like listen to music heaps, to make it heaps, and they're often like, no, this is lame when they've made something. But the reason they think it's lame is because they have the taste to know that they're not that good yet. Yeah. And, you know, to be a musician is just to like it enough to like get through all of the times that you suck.
Yeah, and
you're just going to suck consistently.
Not, you know, there's like a separation of your, you know, for years until I like started to take it seriously. I always wrapped it up in my self-worth or something. Like if I'd made something, if it wasn't good, it would mean that I wasn't good, and it was just like this scary kind of like vulnerable place. And then, you know, you'd like have a J or something and listen to it like when you're pretty, you know, not really there, and really loud with the headphones, but this is amazing, you know. Anything loud in headphones when you had a joint, it's gonna sound probably, you know, not anything, but you can make stuff sound pretty cool, especially if you listen to it like 15 times in a row, and you get, you know, you can get into it. You can kind of get into it. Yeah. But it's that like, and it's cool if that's all you want to do with it. That's like 100% valid, and you know. But there is a weird thing with once you put it out into the world, and it's this complex thing. It's this like interplay of like your audience and what they like, and if they know you, and then that can also shape the way they know your music and like your music, and sometimes they don't even know you at all, and they just like the music, like Aphex Twin or whatever. Like there's people that they have no idea who the person is or what they like, but they love the music. It's this kind of mystery. It's a tricky thing, and I'm just be curious, like how would you teach that? I don't even know if I wouldn't know how to start, but it's like if someone wanted to develop more of that taste thing, it's a tricky one, eh? Like how do you do it? Choose a genre, learn as much as you can about it, figure out what's working.
It's for me, it seems like it's so tied to the passion of it.
Okay.
I don't know. You can get really like philosophical and just like what is life pretty easily. But if I think about like in a very abridged what is life, for me it's like I want to have as many experiences that are like fun, and the experiences that I think are fun are like hanging out with like cool people and doing things that I enjoy, which is just like making music. And something about that just feels pretty inherent to like my character. Like I'm social. I love hanging out with people and talking shit and laughing, and I love making music and being creative and doing all that whole thing. So for me, that's kind of like as far as it really needs to go. Like I'm sussed, because as long as I like making music and hanging out with people, I'm gonna like keep doing this thing. Yeah. Unless I find another way to hang out with people and it be more rewarding than making music. Yeah. But I think when it comes to like, if people think like, how do I improve my taste? Like the main thing is just like, do you really love it? Like after you finish, like if you want to know more about soul music, after you finish like a D'Angelo record, do you want to listen to the next one? Yeah. And like, how can you try and engineer your life to try and have the answer be yes, like more often than not? Like how do you try and put yourself in a scenario where you just like want to just listen to art and make art and hang out with people and just like have that snowball, just like keep on going. And that's what I've tried to do with my like just the way I spend my life. You like finish music school and it's like, all right, I would love it if my life was like teaching like a little bit, hanging out with people and playing gigs heaps, and spending time in the studio heaps. Yeah. And I'm kind of living that as a lifestyle. And you can always kind of fine tune things and hopefully try and get more money for time, and there's ways you can try and figure things out. But like that kind of, I feel like I've kind of clocked it already. And maybe I'm just setting the bar too low, but like,
no, I think it's great.
It's like if I can be happy and like make enough money like doing that, then awesome. Yeah. That's like the name of the game. Hell yeah. And so in terms of like trying to impart that to someone else, just be like, do you love it? Yeah. Well then do it. Yeah.
Just keep doing it.
Just keep doing it. Like that's literally it. That's the only.
And don't be afraid to fail. think that's the key.
Yeah,
Don't be afraid to fail.
or be afraid to fail and fail and it suck. Like it
True.
doesn't. Like,
And you
the
learn
specifics don't even really matter.
Yeah,
It's
right.
just like just do it.
Just do it.
Heaps.
Just do it heaps.
And only do it heaps if you want to do it heaps, and if you don't want to do it, heaps.
Do it heaps, and if you really want to keep doing it, you'll keep doing it heaps.
Yeah, and if you
keep doing it
don't,
heaps.
then do what you want to do instead. Like just do what you want to do, and you'll hopefully as long as the thing that you want to do is like hopefully good for you and the world and other people, then you can't really lose. I don't think.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
It's some real hippie shit though.
That's some real happy shit.
I'm
I mean,
real
I don't know
happy.
what Sam thinks about that, but
He's not. Did you see him not?
he was, well, I don't know if it was you speaking or Sam speaking right then. I'm not too sure. Sometimes he takes over people's
ventriloquism.
bodies and brains and speaks through them.
I think he's having this whole conversation, right?
He is having this whole conversation. We're not here. Maybe he wants to play a song through you to finish off the podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna play another one. I'm gonna maybe play like a ballad.
Do it.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I'll play a ballad.
You on the guitar or the prophet?
I'm on the guitar. Yeah.
Guitar.
I'm gonna play "See in the Dark."
Oh yes, please. Pretty sure I've listened to that tune once once or twice when I've been like super sad. I've just been,
Bro, it's a good super sad
Yeah.
song.
It's like you feel seen.
If you think you think you're super sad when you're listening to it. Shush, guitar.
I love that sound.
This is just gonna take a second to. This tune is called "See in the Dark." Maybe we'll just leave it with that. This is called "See in the Dark." I wish I could say some words to explain, but words are not what you need. My mind has gone numb, my heart's overcome. Is this where good intentions lead? No, I can't see in the dark. No, I can't see in the dark. Unless the stars are shining bright, then there's a chance that I just might see something that I don't want to see. In the dark, dark, see in the dark, dark. Ooh. The sound of that night still burned in my mind. Alone, a bolt from the blue. I'm starting to think that it's a good thing that no one knows me like you do. No, I can't see in the dark. Oh, I can see in the dark. Unless the stars are shining bright, then there's a chance that I just might see something that I don't wanna see. In the dark, dark, see in the dark, dark. Let me just do one more of those last chords. You might be able to fix it. You might be able to do a wee stitchy.
Yeah, I'll stitch it up. I love that tune. So beautiful, man. Don't forget the tremolo, bro.
Oh, fuck.
That's it. We did it.
Gorgeous. Thanks for having me, bro.
Thanks for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure. Thing's going to buzz. But I'll cut that out.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Episode 2, what an honour. Hey, you know 2 is my lucky number.
Is it?
I mean, I don't really do or believe in lucky numbers, but when I was like 8, I did, and 2 was it. So
2 was your lucky number.
Mhm.
There you go. Well, it's obviously meant to be. And we took a few weeks. We had a couple of postponements, and then COVID hit you last week.
Yeah.
But look, it worked out. Or it should have worked out. So
yeah, one like a week before I go. So,
week before, Jack's leaving to London in a week from today, which is the 13th of July.
No, I don't go. I don't actually go.
No, today.
Today?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
the
even
13th.
know
I
what
think
numbers
it's the July 2022 recording date today. So
Yeah, well,
you're off in like,
I'm a bit scared.
oh no.
Hopefully when I'm like listening to this in like a couple months, I'll be like, I don't know, I'll be
You'll
in
be
like
set up.
Belgium on the road. Someone will have asked me to be in their band.
Yeah, man.
I will have just, it'll be a real breeze.
It'll be a breeze. Summer breeze.
Makes me feel fine. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for making it to the end.
Studio 721.
Summer breeze.
Been here with Jack
Make me
Page.
feel fine. Summer breeze makes me feel fine. Summer breeze makes me feel fine. Cheers.
Wait, we gotta do that. How, Jack? Before we go.
Yes.
How do people find you? Jack Page.
Yeah,
Jack
if you
Page
just type
music.
in Jack Page into whatever the thing
Instagram.
is. Yeah, I'm there.
So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna get out our phones.
Me
this,
as well?
Like this. No, you don't need it. You're following yourself.
Yeah,
I'm already following you, but I'm opening it. I'm looking at Instagram right now, and I'm gonna look up Jack Page music, and then I'm gonna follow that, and then I'm gonna go onto Spotify and go to Jack Page music or Apple Music if you're an Apple Music user, or
Yeah.
any of the other DSPs. And we're gonna follow Jack Page,
That's a digital service provider.
digital service provider, streaming services, which Unchained, provides to 100% for free.
Oh, that's nice of them.
No royalties, no fees. And that's what this podcast is brought to you by. So follow Jack Page, follow Unchained Music. We love you all. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.
Episode 3.
Kia ora.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Kia ora.
Peace. My new instrument just created this. Ile kwako wanya